So maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, you're putting out fires in your business, you're having trouble finding time. Well, here's how you start to implement systems in your business to get your time back, to get your life back. Okay. And it all started for me when I went to see a naturopathic doctor, and I was getting my hormones checked. And she came to me and she said, with the results, and said, do you even look at a woman when she walks by? Good looking woman. And it kind of shocked me. And I thought, well, come to think of it, I don't. Why? She said, because your testosterone level is really low and your stress levels are really high. So, when we are in survival mode, right? Any animal that's in survival mode, its primary drive is to survive. The secondary drive would be to reproduce. So this is how the hormones work. And I just was like, oh my God. And in that moment, I just like collapsed because I was like, oh my God, I am tired. Right? Because I had been exercising and eating right, but I just always had this mental pressure of trying to hold everything together. I had at that point like 8 personal trainers working for me. I had 2 front desk staff. So I have a team of about 10 to 12 people, and I'm just trying to balance it all. And then I'm trying to balance my family life, and I'm trying to grow at the same time, and trying to do everything. And eventually I just was burning the candle on both ends. And that moment was like, wow, okay, and I recognized that I had to do something at that point. I was drinking a lot of coffee, like all day long, just coffee, as sort of just masking the natural energy, right? And that would affect my sleep. And then if I wasn't getting restful sleep, then I would wake up tired. And it's like I was sliding down this downward spiral. And there's a saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And I was in the gym, and one of my clients came in. He saw how tired I looked, and this was a business coach. And he said, what's wrong? I just told him, I said, wow, I don't know what to do. I have this business and I'm sort of stuck in it, and I'm exhausted. I don't know what to do anymore. Like I'm holding on to the last bit. And he said, yes, I know exactly where you're at. He went out to his car. He came back with a book. He said, read this. And that book was The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, Why Most Small Businesses Fail. And I just started gobbling up each page. Every page I turned was resonating with me. It was like, oh my God, wow, this is what's wrong. The business has been dependent on me this whole time, right? And he had lines like, if the business depends on you, you don't own a business, you have a job. And the worst part is you're working for a lunatic. And I could resonate with that because I did feel like a lunatic. I felt in complete chaos, like just everything going on, and just questioning myself, questioning why I'm in this business, what I should do. And it really hit me. And he also had things like, it's not about what you do, but how you do it. And this took me a while to grasp. Like, what does he mean by that? Like, it's how you do it. He had lines in there like systems are about integrity, delivering what you say you will every time. And I thought back to businesses that I had experienced, where I go to a restaurant, I eat a meal, and if it's consistent every time, I love that restaurant. And I start to really trust it and go there a lot. But if I go to a restaurant where one day it's one thing, the next day it's another thing, say the bacon's undercooked or overcooked, and then I get, the different type of bread, I'm out. I don't, if I loved it, why are you ruining it? Right. So the systems actually created the integrity. So I thought, wow, this is important for my clients also. Yeah. And another one was documentation is an affirmation of order. Me, that was in this chaos trying to manage everything, I knew that I had to organize myself, but I didn't know that documentation was the affirmation of order, which I will talk about next. So here I was thinking, wow, I have to start implementing these changes. I need to figure it out. Yet this is another thing I need to add to my to-do list, It's like, oh my God, how do I do this? I got to work even more. But I knew deep down that this was the sharpening of the axe, right? That my axe was dull and I just kept going around and hitting, trying to chop trees down with a dull axe. Or another way to put it was, it's like I had a stool in the middle of the living room, and every time I would walk by, I'd hit my foot on it and go, ow. But I would never move that stool. I never put in the effort to say, okay, I'm not going to deal with this again and move the stool. I wouldn't take that time. It took a mental shift of becoming more diligent around details and slowing down and refusing to deal with the same issues. Seth Godin has a great quote. He says, a woodpecker can peck 1,000 trees 20 times, be busy, but go nowhere. Or he could peck one tree 20,000 times and bring home dinner. Oh, such a great quote. So that points to really doing what is effective versus what is just busyness, right? And there's a big difference there. Like, what creates impact? And that's where you need to focus your time. So as the book recommended, I decided I was going to start to systemize the work that I do. That's the starting point. Where do I start with the actual work that I'm doing with clients? So I looked at that work as the client with a personal trainer. And when I looked at it at that time, I thought, there's no way that my work can be systemized. It's too unique. There's too many options. Each prospect that comes in, there's multiple, right? Just take, for example, injuries. If this person has a knee injury or a back injury, then I have to exercise in a different way with them. I have to, if the person wants to run a marathon, or the person just has 10 pounds to lose, or the person is just doing it for general health, how could I possibly document all this? So I felt like I had too much information to be boxed in. And I really rejected this whole book. It was a struggle. It was like a pull and a push at the same time, because I didn't want to be boxed in. I just felt like, no, and I can't box my people into following my system. Like, they have their own thing. And I had all these limiting beliefs in myself. And so I recognized at that point that I couldn't see the picture because I was in the frame. And when I looked at my clients that had, fitness and health issues, they couldn't see the picture either. Yet I saw it so clearly, right? So I went back to the coach that gave me the book, and I said, help me. I need help. And I let down my ego. I let down everything, and I asked for help. And I paid him a lot of money. But I will tell you, every dollar, every penny was worth it, because the outcome of that created just complete abundance in all aspects of my life. Changes you can't put a dollar amount to. So we started with the work, and he started by asking me questions. And by the way, I have a ebook, The Business Freedom Roadmap, on my website. It's free. It gives you all the systems in the business, the 7 systems: lead generation, lead conversion, client fulfillment, management, finance, leadership, and marketing. The bugs are really flying here. They want to be in the video. So anyways, I decide to start working with this coach, and he starts asking me just the questions, the right questions. What do you do when a prospect comes in the door? How do you greet them? What are you wearing? Are you wearing a specific shirt with your logo on it? What's in your hands? Do you have anything? What do you do? I shake their hand. I say hello. I introduce myself. I bring them to the office. Everything I was writing, everything I was saying, he was writing it down as a system, because I have a thought process on the way I was doing it. Thought process. We have the thought process. It's just hard for us to see it, especially if you've been in it for a long time. If you've been doing the work for a long time, it feels like you're just in flow, and there's just no quantifying it. But there's a thought process behind it. You just don't think about it anymore. So then I said, okay, then I bring them to the office, and he was writing each line down, starting to craft a checklist together. And then it became, okay, then what? Okay, then I go into the office, and then what? Then I have a questionnaire that I fill out. So then I was able to follow a flow of a questionnaire that showed me the flow. And I realized that I didn't have any solutions for this questionnaire. So if the person did have a bad back, that there was a way that I was approaching somebody with a bad back, that there's certain exercise I would avoid. There's certain exercise I would add. There's certain tests, first of all, that I would do with them to know what kind of bad back it was. So I started to document what would become my method of exercise. Okay. And by doing this, what happened was I actually had something to look at on paper. But more importantly than that, I had something to teach my trainers on how to do. I had had so many years of experience, and here they were with less experience, and I'm bringing them in, and they wanted my guidance, but I just never gave it to them. They wanted help. They wanted a map. They wanted me to say, this is how you do it, because really, they wanted to do a good job. They wanted to do a good job for their employer, for their clients. And I was now able to provide them with that. So what I did is I put on my coaching hat with my staff now. It wasn't about the clients anymore. It was about training my people. So I put that on, and I go through the list of each item that has then a description of how I do each item. And I teach them, and I role play with them. And I use the skills I had as a personal trainer to do that with my staff and to help them with my team. Now, of course, this comes with a bunch of issues also, because there's some people that don't want to be boxed in. There's some people that do not want to follow rules, do not want to follow systems. And you know what? They need to go. Those people need to go. And it's not their fault. It's my fault. It was my fault that I never had a hiring system when I brought them on board. I didn't have a training system. I didn't have a management system in place. So, of course, they came in with the wrong expectations. And then they end up thinking that they own their business within my business. So then there's a power struggle. And that's my fault. So I have to let them go when they have no interest in following what I'm creating, my method, right? Because I'm the one that took the risk in this business. I'm the one that put $250,000 that I had on the line at that point. And I'm the one taking in all the stress that if this doesn't work, I'm in big trouble. And if it doesn't work for them, they will just find another job, or they'll do their own thing. This fly, man. So I'll be going over the hiring system. I'll be going over onboarding management system in further videos. So stay tuned to subscribe to my channel. But eventually what happened is I started to systemize my whole business. And as I did that, I was able to free myself and not having the business dependent on me. It relieved so much pressure. I wasn't holding the world on my shoulders anymore. And my health started to get better. My stress level went down. My testosterone went back up. Oh, all the people around me felt that. So there was just impact all around. Okay. And now I help business owners that have teams that are wanting to grow teams and wanting to expand. I help them create systems to free themselves in their business. That's what I do now because I was able to go through it myself. So if you're wondering if this is even possible, well, let my story be proof to you that it is. Okay. And you can do it. Download my ebook. It's right there. It's a recipe. There's a ton of challenges. So if you need help, reach out to me, but know that you can do it.